company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, a hail of bullets fired in the village of Libertad last night. One family found the need to seek cover as their home came under attack. The Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association outlined support for sugar industry license to import-export regulation 2023. Jasmine Harton is held up at the Belize northern border. Where was she headed to? And the fair trade representatives speak on Orange Walk becoming a fair trade community. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, June 6th, 2023.
Special guest in the audience tonight, legendary record executive, Mr. Clive Davis.
My voice is gone. What? You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston.
Wake up! It's on. It's on. Listen. If he really loves me.
My dream, sing what I want to sing, be how I want to be.
I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
Reach as big an audience as I can.
Common criticism of you, your music isn't black enough.
Look, I don't know how to sing black, and I don't know how to sing white either. I know how to sing.
Woo!
I might have just heard the greatest voice of her generation.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's got to have a hook.
The hook?
Yeah.
I'll give it a hook.
appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergski and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. Last night, while many were enjoying the sound of the rain on their zinc roof, one family had to find shelter in Libertad, but not because of the storm. Instead, they had to take cover for their life as a hail of bullets were fired at their home while they were inside. If it's retaliation for the murder of Curtis Usher on Saturday night, the shooter or shooters definitely left a strong message. Our team traveled further north today to find out how the tranquility of the once sugar-producing community is being robbed.
Tonight, residents of the peaceful community of Libertad in Corozal are still reeling from the shooting death of Curtis Usher that occurred in the village on Saturday night. Unbeknown to Usher's family, a lone gunman dressed in dark clothing pulled out of a bushy area opposite of the family's residence around 9 p.m. on Saturday and unleashed a barrage of bullets at Usher, who was on the veranda with his 3-year-old son. Usher, his common-law wife and toddler, had just returned home from the village of Concepcion. While Usher's wife was still in the car when the shots rang out, he was fatally injured while his son KJ was grazed by one of the bullets on the head. By the time the sounds of gunshots ceased, Usher lay dead behind his house, the area he ran to escape from the bullets. What also has residents stunned is that the shooter allegedly used a high-powered rifle, the kind handled by our BDF soldiers, to commit the crime. But what is even more alarming is that while investigators try to disentangle this latest homicide, last night the sound of bullets went off again in the village. It was around 11 p.m. during the heavy rains and thunderstorms that the Henry family had to seek cover so as not to be injured by the gunshots that came from outside their residence. According to 32-year-old Wilbert Henry, alias Cito, he and his common-law wife and their 2 children were already asleep when they were awakened by the sounds of gunshots. This prompted both parents to snatch their children and dashed for the floor until the shots receded.
Yes, well, I was the last one to fall asleep. Went to sleep at 10:45, 10:50. That's little while after then I hear the gunshots, and my boy just grab for his data and drop on the ground, and I grab my son until I go underneath the bed. I just hear crazy gunshots. Yeah.
What went through your mind at that moment?
I want to know what happened, because I know we not do nothing, you know. I want to know where they can target my family for.
How many gunshots you heard?
To be honest, me only hear like 6, because I just black out when I hear, and I hear nothing else. I just go up on the ground and worry about my kids.
After the gunshots stopped, Henry came outside his house only to find out that his blue Ford Escape had been extensively damaged by the bullets. 5 bullet marks were seen on the right side of the vehicle and 14 on the front side and right side of the house. Thinking about the safety of his family, Henry sought shelter at the residence of a family member until police arrived at his home. According to Henry, he did not see anyone or any vehicle fleeing the area. Scenes of crime personnel processed the scene and recovered 30 expended .223 shells. We understand Henry was detained by police around 3 this morning for questioning, since reports indicate that he may have information on the murder of Curtis Usher.
Well, they tell me that they detain her for questioning to for the murder will happen
Here in Libertad?
here in Libertad.
He has any relationship with those people?
None at all. None at all. When they killed that boy, my boy made it right into the house. He had flu.
And now your kids, what are your kids saying? Have they questioned as to what happened?
No, they just in a shock. They just want to know what happened. I just try explain to them. They ask for them power, you know.
Why would your family be targeted?
I don't know. Because my boy not had no relationship, no beef, no nothing with that boy. I not even know that boy like that.
Any threats before?
No, sir.
Yourself or your husband?
No.
So you would say you have like a peaceful relationship here in Libertad with everybody?
Yes.
Libertad is small.
Small, yeah. I don't have no problem with nobody. I barely even know anybody at Libertad.
Now, what do you want to see as a result of this incident? I'm sure that police is going to investigate. You will want to find out why they targeted your family. What are the answers you're looking for?
And I just want to make them catch the person who do it, because if they may hurt my kids and me, what may happen? And why that my boy detained and that we are the victim?
The matter is still under police investigations at this time, and no one has been charged up to news time. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
CTV3 News understands that police were also called to an unknown street at the corner of Libertad Village where a second round of gunshots were heard last night. However, when our team visited the area, we were told that the officers could not find evidence of the shooting. As we told you, police have found the need to respond to 2 separate shooting incidents in Libertad in less than a week. The first resulted in the fatal shooting of Curtis Usher, who was killed in the presence of his family on Saturday night. The second incident has shattered the sense of safety of Wilbert Henry and his family, who were targeted last night by a shooter or shooters who riddled the family's vehicle and home while they were sleeping just before 11 p.m. It is uncertain whether both incidents are related. But what we can tell you tonight is that the occurrences have left the community uneasy and fearing for their safety, especially since residents have been without police stations since September 6, 2004, when the substation was burnt down. With the recent crimes committed, the village council is concerned and are asking for permanent police presence in the village.
I will plead to the government to actually give us that police station. I believe we are really in need of a police station in our village. It is of great assistance, of course. You know, you have somewhere easier to run or easier to call to actually access. And, you know, I believe that Libertad with our factory has given much, so we could actually receive a police station in return, and we will actually love that for our village, of course.
Jacqueline Lambert, the wife of Wilbert Henry, concurs with the council, noting that while Libertad is known to be a quiet community, there is a dire need for a police substation.
I believe that, you know, I believe it's personal situation that people may have within themselves. It has nothing much to do with our village or our villagers, of course. So we don't want to think that, hey, Libertad is a bad place and an unsafe place. We actually beer come, right? So it's just personal things happening out of our control, of course.
Being that Libertad has been without a police station for almost 20 years, you think that if we had a station here, these things would not be happening?
Yeah, if they may have a station, yeah, then I think that may happen. But aside from that, Libertad, a peaceful spot. I don't know where they going on right now.
Residents solely depend on dialing 911 when an incident occurs and sometimes have to wait a long period before cops arrive from Corozal town to the village. At this time, the enforcement of the sugar industry regulations license to import-export sugar has been placed on pause by order of the Supreme Court. This came following a challenge brought forward by BSI-ASR and the Corozal Cane Producers Association. The court hearings on this matter are expected to commence on July 21st, and as the sugar industry awaits a decision on this matter, today the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, BSCFA, hosted a press conference to clarify matters which they say have been raised by both BSI-ASR and two of the other cane farmer associations regarding the regulations. The stage set for today's press conference came retrofitted with very strong messages from the association, mainly targeted towards BSI-ASR. Some of those read BSI-ASR obey the regulations, BSI-ASR pay BSCFA's fair trade premium, and we want transparency and accountability from BSI-ASR. As part of their efforts to clarify what they call misconceptions within the industry in regards to the regulations and the fair trade premiums, the BSCFA today laid out specific figures of cane delivered and payments received during the 2021-2022 crop season, which they say highlights the injustice being suffered by the over 3,000 farmers of the association.
BSCFA represents 53.9% of the total sugar production. Northern 7.8%, Progressive 18.2%, Corozal Producers 10.7%, and Research and CIRDI together they represent 9.5. BSI Research and the cane growing project and CIRDI represent 9.5%. That makes the 100%. So you can see that from the total sugar production, BSCFA has the 53.9%. The amount that was sold to TLS comes from the four organizations. That needs to be clarified. Very clear. Comes from the four organizations. And the explanation will explain why. The production by Northern, which is the smallest, represents 21%. Sorry. The production in premium doesn't have the percentage there. No, 9%, sorry. 9%, and the percentage for Corozal Producers, it's 12%, and Progressive, it's 20%. Now here is the important part, that the remaining 59% belongs to BSCFA. Now, going forward to the next slide, it explains the amount or volume of sugar that can potentially be sold as fair trade. But the truth, how it was distributed, that 45,000 tons was distributed in three organizations, giving 9,743 to Northern, 13,380 to Corozal Producers, and 22,700 to Progressive, which is 50% of the volume that was paid as fair trade. 21% to Northern and 29% to Corozal producers. This clearly shows that the production that they could potentially allocate on those 45,000 tons could have only been a percentage less than that.
Looking at the numbers of last crop season, the BSCFA says it is evident that the share of fair trade premiums due to the BSCFA was distributed among the other associations, though no fault of theirs.
On the three of the ones that were paid the premium of 45,835. The first column in yellow explains the maximum or the total production of sugar by each association, which adds up to 45,179. But Tate and Lyle bought 45,835, slightly higher, a slightly higher, bigger volume, which exceeded the amount that they could potentially sell or buy from each association by more than double. The 45,835 was divided in the three associations, which begs the question, if that is the total production of each association, how were the other volumes or other markets were fulfilled? If their total production was allocated as per the facts that the premium was paid to them by TLS, how were the other markets fulfilled by BSI?
As it is, the BSCFA says the regulation simply seeks to address major discrimination against the association, which remains the largest and most productive association within the northern sugar industry.
The legislation as such comes to address an important circumstance that the industry is undergoing, which is discrimination. The biggest, the strongest, the most productive organization is being discriminated, and the regulation is just attempting to fix that. One of the other associations have pronounced themselves against it. And it's a pity. It's a pity because it seems as if those leaders or those persons speaking will be there forever. And nobody is here forever. And things change. And leaders change. And what will happen if one day there is a change in leadership in those organizations and does not satisfy the requests of the mill and the buyer? They will suffer the same discrimination BSCFA is suffering right now. Right now they are enjoying the double benefit, the double premium they're getting. They are enjoying the premium that should have been or is rightfully for BSCFA. May I correct my words? But things might change. And let's hope not, because it's not nice. Our 3,320 farmers are suffering this discrimination, and the worst thing, they have invested to comply with the standards of the fair trade. Our sugar was sold with all the costs incurred by the members in the certification. It carries a cost. So that's why we rightfully deserve our premium.
As an association which seeks to ensure the best for its farmers, the BSCFA says it supports the regulations as proposed and will continue to fight for its implementation.
We fully support the regulations because, as explained by Mr. Keme, we see that within the regulations there are benefits for all the farmers, not only farmers of the BSCFA, but all the farmers. And we challenge BSI to come forward with the information needed. There's nothing to hide. They should be very clear with us. We are working in partnership. They have always sing the song that we are a matrimony. But we live by words of matrimony because in their actions is totally different. So we want to be very clear that the BSCFA is working on finding solutions that will benefit the livelihood of our farmers and their families. That is what we are looking for, and that is why we call this press conference to clarify many of the issues that was brought forward on the last press conference of the other two associations, where there was a lot of misleading information on their side. There is in no way in the fair trade standards that it calls for a long-term agreement with the mill. There's nothing in there. All they want us to have is that we are in good standing with the fair trade certification and that we have an agreement. And we have an agreement with BSI. Last crop we have an agreement until July, and this crop we have an agreement from December until November. So there's an agreement. We comply with everything. But our sin as the BSCFA is to find ways to negotiate for betterment of our farmers. That is our sin. And because of that, we have been castigated in this way, where the premium has been negated to us because what they are looking for is to break the BSCFA in more pieces. They started in 2015, but we have had the opportunity of farmers to really stand strong behind us because our farmers understand that what we are looking for is for their benefit. So that is our plea, that is our move, and we will continue on that, fighting for the benefit of our farmers.
In terms of the specific clause in the regulations which seeks to make BSI ESR the conveyor of fair trade premiums, meaning they will collect and distribute premiums to the different associations, the BSCFA today clarified that while BSI ESR is vehemently opposed to this notion, it simply seeks to regularize the marketing of local sugar in the fair trade market.
The regulation just passed will just come to correct the way our sugar is being marketed and commercialized. The certification, the fair trade certification, speaks in a normal scenario where there are two players, the seller and the buyer, which is the producer organization and the buyer. In this case would be BSCFA and Titan Lyle. We would be selling our sugar to Titan Lyle. That is the scenario where the normal scenario in the standard. Our functioning have three players, which is by law, the mill has the privilege for exportation, right? So nonetheless, there is a privilege in the Sugar Industry Act. There is no responsibility for them as such to comply with the payments. Now, it is the payment you refer to is none other than the function of a conveyor. I explained the definition of a conveyor. They would only ensure it will not be them paying it, It will be them collecting it, ensuring to collect it from the buyer, which is Titan Line. So the function of a conveyor is what is being asked or requested from BSI by this regulation. Versus now, there is when, and this benefits BSCFA. Why? Because last year, when the crop ended, we requested the information on the volume of sugar they sold to Titan Lyle as fair trade. And they told us we don't have the right for that information because we don't have a contract with TLS. And there is no contract. They were always talking about the letter of enhancement or letter of agreement, right? But that letter of agreement is nothing else than a sourcing plan, a promise, an intention. But there is no committed volume or price in that letter. And it doesn't speak also specific to an organization. It speaks as a country. TLS has the intention to buy a minimum of X amount of tons from Belize or from BSI, which is the seller by law, which is the exporter by law. So this regulation only comes to define the roles and responsibilities, how we function, and it is allowed by the Fair Trade Standard.
Replying especially to the Progressive Sugarcane Farmers Association and the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association, who raised concern that the regulation may paint a bad picture for Belize, where political interference is copious within the sugar industry and may result in the loss of fair trade premiums entirely. The BSCFA highlighted that what may be perceived as political interference by some may in fact be much needed government intervention.
And I heard in the press conference of the other two associations was mentioned the word interference, government interference. I think there is a difference between interference and intervention. Interference is most likely to do harm, to do bad, to do damage. And intervention is most likely in a positive way to try to find solution or better things for the industry in our case. So I think the intervention of the government, I would even say that it's a bit late because the request was made many months ago to take action on the issues that the industry, the sugarcane industry, was going through. And the action that the government started by implementing legislation that was already in place, but the industry had functioned well up to recently when this negotiation process started. Then it was seen by the government the need to enact this regulation to bring stabilization to what is happening within the industry. And it begs the question on what is ASR asking for. If you see the trend ASR has been going, they want a deregulated industry. And if we have some regulations in place, and this is happening, discrimination, abuse is happening, what do you think will happen in an deregulated industry? It will be worse. So I think the government in place is cognizant of the situation and the responsibility they have on their shoulders, and they have embraced the actions that they need, the decisions they have to do. How far they are willing to go, I can't say.
In less than a month, Orange Walk Town will become the first fair trade town in the region after the establishment of a committee, which one of the 5 requirements. The aim is to give the community as well as small and medium producers the opportunity to form part of a multinational organization focused on the fair sale of products both locally and internationally. This is a huge step for Sugar City, and today Regional Director of Fair Trade in the Caribbean, Andrea Fuentes, as well as Country Manager for Fair Trade, Yanis Murcia, appeared in our morning show to share more about the benefits of becoming a fair trade community.
Dentro de menos de un mes se va a convertir Orange Walk en la primera ciudad del Caribe por un comercio justo, ¿no? Esto entonces tiene una doble, por decirlo así, relevancia, doble importancia. El que Orange Walk nazca una ciudad por el comercio justo se basa principalmente en que, como bien lo dijo usted, el sistema Fair Trade es bastante importante dentro de lo que es el país como tal y dentro de lo que es la sociedad cañera. No solo está a un nivel de los productores y las productoras, sino también se niveja mucho a nivel de comunidad y a nivel de gobierno local. Hay demasiado involucramiento, hay demasiada, ¿cómo decirlo así?, trabajo conjunto entre todo lo que es la sociedad civil y el gobierno en pro de lo que es este sistema o este movimiento internacional. Entonces, cuando hace un año atrás me toca viajar y le presentamos junto con Yanis y representantes de nuestras organizaciones de productores, tanto nos acompañó Progressive y BSFA también en esa primera reunión, que dimos como esas primeras pinceladas de lo que significaría para Orange ser esa primera ciudad de comercio justo. El alcalde, el gobierno local, la verdad que le llamó muchísimo la atención, vio que era un beneficio para todo lo que era la comunidad, ¿verdad? Para todo lo que era la sociedad civil y sobre todo para lo que era el gobierno local también. Ser parte de esta red de ciudades por el comercio justo. No quiero dejar atrás que existen a fecha de hoy más de 2.000 ciudades a nivel internacional. Quiero comentarles que la primera de ellas nace en Inglaterra. Recordad que Inglaterra es uno de los principales compradores de azúcar de Belice, ¿verdad? Y a nivel de América Latina y el Caribe ya hay ciudades y pueblos por el comercio justo en más de 7 países, más de 15 ciudades, y estas, al pertenecer a este círculo de ciudades certificadas, vienen a ser como una comunidad de ciudades, donde se interrelaciona, donde se interactúa, donde intercambian experiencia y una vez al año también se reúnen a nivel internacional.
In the region, Fair Trade currently markets a wide range of products from various countries and believes will soon form part of that list.
Actualmente aquí solo tenemos azúcar. Hace un tiempo teníamos también cacao, ¿no? Okay. Pero tenemos bananos. En República Dominicana es bananos y cacao. Tenemos oro, miel. Hay muchos productos que están actualmente certificados, incluso andamos en busca de nuevos productos acá en Belice. Entonces, si hay nuevos productos que esas organizaciones también puedan incluir bajo sus áreas, también se pueden incluir. Son varias opciones, tenemos vinos también. Así que es una opción para productores, es muy grande la oportunidad para que los productores locales se puedan integrar en este tipo de movimiento, ¿no? Y la idea con las ciudades es promocionar lo que ya las organizaciones tienen actualmente. Tienen bastantes verduras y vemos que hay miel, hay bastantes productos, pero no tienen no hay una área para situarlo, para promocionarlo, y más que todo lo que queremos con este movimiento es conocer su historia de cada productor que está atrás de estos productos, porque eso es lo importante para nosotros, no solo producir, sino entender de dónde vienen estos productos y cómo se producen. Y eso es lo que tratamos de hacer con este movimiento, ¿no? Porque es muy importante conocer su historia, y en Orange Walk y Corozal pues hay muchísimos productos que la gente no ha sabido promocionarlo, y la idea es que ellos vengan a esta feria para que lo promocionen y tendremos mucha cobertura internacional también.
While community certification differs from product certification, as in the case of sugar, which receives monetary premiums, becoming fair trade certified brings along its own set of benefits to both the community and also local producers.
Los beneficios los recibe lo que es la ciudad como tal, ¿no? El entrar a esta red de ciudades de comercio justo, están más de 2.000 ciudades a nivel internacional y también a nivel pues de continente de América Latina y el Caribe, entran en como en una carpeta, por decirlo así, en un blog, ¿no? En un folder, donde hay mucho turismo también, mucha gente se dedica al turismo sostenible, entonces van a empezar a buscar y dicen, bueno, mira ahora, somos una ciudad por el comercio justo. Entonces la idea no es que solo se benefician estos productores locales, que no por eso reciben prima, aquí la prima está completamente fuera, no tiene nada que ver, sino que también la hostelería se beneficia porque pueden hacer, por ejemplo, rutas, llevar a conocer un día a una finca de caña, cómo es una finca donde se procesa caña de comercio justo. Por ejemplo, tenemos al señor de la Fuente, que está muy parte del comité, ¿verdad? Precursor de lo que es esta ciudad de Orange, ciudad por el comercio justo. Él puede promover sus productos también dentro, utilizar productos locales, enseñar un poco la ruta. Hay países donde ha comenzado a trabajar, por ejemplo, la ruta del cacao, que son ciudades por el comercio justo, la ruta del banano, la ruta del café. Entonces se hace una promoción de lo que es la ciudad como tal. Y como bien te decía en un principio, hay un intercambio también de consumidores, de actores entre ciudades ya certificadas comercio justo. Es lo mismo que pasa a nivel de universidades. El sistema de comercio justo no solo tiene organizaciones de pequeños productores, sino también tenemos universidades, tenemos escuelas por el comercio justo, tenemos ciudades y pueblos por el comercio justo.
As part of the certification process, the Orange Walk Fair Trade Committee, along with its partners, will be hosting a Fair Trade Market Day here in Orange Walk on July 1st, which seeks to promote small and medium producers within the community.
La idea un poquito de la campaña en la ciudad es motivar lo que es el consumo local de estos productos, ¿no? Motivar a la gente a consumir sano, consumir local, como te decía en un principio, a promover lo que es la soberanía alimentaria. Ahora, si bien existe algún producto que tenga un volumen el cual podamos llegar a conquistar algún otro mercado internacional, pues también eso se puede hacer. Yo sé que en este momento Belice es un gran productor de coco y el coco siempre ha estado bastante demandado a nivel internacional, llámese el agua de coco, el aceite de coco, en la masa, en fin, en diamante, como también se conoce. Entonces creo que también se podría dar un paso. Pero lo importante de la campaña es un poco acercar a hacer como un trabajo conjunto, fomentar esas capacidades de producción local y también pues el acceso a los mercados locales, ¿no? De los productos que ya tenemos de nuestras organizaciones. Y motivar también a lo que es la interacción entre la sociedad civil, entre el gobierno y entre las asociaciones de pequeños productores y productoras, porque más que mal es toda la sociedad la que se beneficia de lo que es el movimiento comercio justo.
Interested producers are invited to join the market day, which will be hosted at the Central Park on July 1st.
El Market Day, ¿verdad? Está enfocado a un evento más que todo familiar, que traigan sus familias. Vamos a tener eventos, bailes culturales, ¿verdad? Promocionando la cultura local de Orange Rock. Estamos invitando a los artesanos que existen en Orange Rock, en las diferentes aldeas, a los agricultores de las organizaciones y también productores, aunque no estén certificados de la organización, que tengan algún producto, tomate, chile, zanahoria, todos los productos que ellos produzcan localmente, sus gallinas, todo lo que, incluso especies, están invitados, todo es promocionando los productos que existen localmente, ¿verdad? Y también promocionando esos productos como el aceite de coco, la miel, el recado, que pues lo tenemos, mercado negro, el chips de plátano, como lo mencionabas, la salsa de pimienta y también las comidas tradicionales, ¿verdad? Que en Orange Rock es un distrito conocido por sus rellenos, o sea, sus diferentes comidas riquísimas. Todo el mundo quiere ir por sus tacos, pero también aquí quiero mencionarles, le voy a facilitar la página. Tenemos un formulario pequeño donde las organizaciones certificadas, que son 4, ¿verdad? Pueden también asistirles. Es un formulario bien básico donde pueden llenarlo y ahí va directamente a nuestro chairman. Indicar qué tipo de producto tienes, cuál es tu nombre y después de eso nosotros lo contactamos. Aquí tenemos las diferentes categorías, ¿verdad? Y hay un pequeño fee que se les cobra porque para la renta de los tents. Y si necesitan electricidad, pero es un proceso bastante simple y si ocupan ayuda, pues las organizaciones les pueden facilitar con eso. También tenemos el formulario en línea que les podemos facilitar. Y no, contáctese con nosotros y le explicamos un poquito más de este movimiento.
Interested persons can contact the Orange Walk Fair Trade Committee at phone number 621-4999 for more information. Coming up next, Jasmine Harton held up at the Santa Elena border. Stay tuned.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there. Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted. We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list?
There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
The world has changed since you've been out there. Men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
I'm most pleased to report that to the nation that we have been able to secure roughly $90 million for the construction of a new 150-bed modern national referral tertiary care hospital in Belize. Given the vulnerability of KHMH to hurricanes and floods, the strategic placement of this hospital in Bamapan represents an important part of our climate resiliency building strategy in the provision of health care.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Jasmine Harton has been held up at Belize's northern border with Mexico attempting to cross this afternoon. We understand that the 33-year-old is sentenced to pay a fine of $75,000 and serve 300 hours of community service, had obtained a temporary travel document issued by a Canadian consulate. She is a native of Canada. She was unable to present proof of payment of the fine that her Canadian consul and others said in a statement at the weekend had in fact been paid in full. She also has been unable to regain her passport that was confiscated from the time she was arrested 2 years ago in the manslaughter death of the late Henry Jamot in Ambergris Key. It was not clear whether Harton may have been headed, but we are told the Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was informed and intervened to stop her departure. Harton has 1 year to pay the fine and perform the remainder of her court-ordered sentence, in default a year's imprisonment. Getting a degree is the best choice anyone can make. However, we all know too well that education can become very pricey depending on your area of study. For this reason, the Taiwanese government saw the need and importance of investing in education, and through the ICDF scholarship, many Malaysians over the years have been able to further their studies in their course of choice. One of the most recent graduates is Chrisani Sabido, who achieved a bachelor's degree. On a one-on-one today, she told us how the journey has been since being enrolled at the Kunshan University in Taiwan under her bachelor's program.
First of all, I just want to say thanks to the ICDF for giving me this opportunity of studying in Taiwan. Well, I majored in mechanical engineering. What I can say is that when I first got to Taiwan, it was a very big culture shock, but I got used to it. Another thing is that being like one of the only females in my class was also like a shock to me, but after all, you get used to it, and you learn how to adapt to things. It has been a great experience, not only learning a new language, but also meeting a lot of people from all around the world, and the very experienced professors. Like, for example, in my university, we have a lot of very experienced professors, and they always want to involve you in different things. For example, like I did a couple projects, and they also encouraged me to join a lot of, we would say, competitions, because in the tech field, we have a lot of competitions going on.
As would be the case, mechanical engineering is a course of study dominated mostly by males, but Sabida says she knew what she was up for and was conscious of the challenges she would face along the way.
Since I was very young, I always loved science and mathematics, and I was always very interested in these fields. Well, what I remember is, I always remember this. There was this one time when I was back at home, and I remember my computer was giving trouble, right? And I was like, I wonder what's going on with this. So I decided to open up my computer, and I just like doing these things. I wanted to know how things work, and I wanted to know what was wrong. And I think that's what I really enjoy doing, and I want to learn new things. And for example, with tech, there's so many things you can learn with programming, etc. So many things, right? And so when I was in high school, I did science, and then I really wanted to do something like engineering. Actually, I tried out doing environmental science, but I still had that. I still wanted to do something with engineering. So then I applied for the scholarship, and I got it. And I really love it. It's a really great field, and like you said, it's you don't see a lot of females in this field, and I know that a lot of females really love this field, but maybe they might be scared to venture into it. Here in Taiwan, there are a lot of opportunities, and I definitely want to pursue my master's degree. So I'm looking into that right now. So I want to pursue my master's degree, and then definitely go back to Belize and show people, or work in a company and demonstrate my skills that I've learned here in Taiwan. Don't be scared. If you have the passion to do something, you should do it. You should go for it. Just do it. Don't think twice. Like I said again, don't think twice about it. And I think these fields really need female engineers, and it's very important for females to actually pursue these kinds of careers.
Every year, the ICDF scholarship is made available for Belizeans who meet the necessary requirements. Libertad Village is the latest community to be affected by gun violence with 2 incidences over the last 2 days. The issue is affecting members of the community, including children who were left traumatized after Saturday and last night's shooting.
And that is totally true. Like every time something big happen, like to the extent in Libertad, it's usually someone coming in Libertad. It's not actually someone that's literally from the village, and that is where I explain, like the fear of people trying to come into Libertad, or because it's not usually our people. So like we don't want to have a bad name out there, like in the sense that Libertad is not socialized with any kind of gang figures, or we don't have that kind of people. People might them boy might technically drink and quarrel with one another, and tomorrow then they right back together, like nothing personal with nobody. It's usually actually foreign people actually coming in. I believe that's the sad part, that people might do these things and even have the kids in regards, and I am a mother as well, and I believe that that's something hard that I could imagine, that. So I just ask whatsoever, just hold in regards at least the kids, like their kids have nothing to do with nothing, or what personal incident people have with each other. Just leave the kids out.
Multiple police presence were seen in Libertad today. Recently, Belize did exceptionally well at the Central American 38 under 18th and 34th under 20 Athletics Championship. The event was hosted in Guatemala at the Cementos Progreso Stadium and the Eric Paronda Park in the country's capital this weekend. Even when Belize placed 5th regionally, our athletes gained 7 gold medals, 8 silver medals, and 2 bronze medals. That is a total of 17 medals altogether, and today the team was shown how proud the country is of their achievement.
I want to say a big congratulations to all the athletes who participated in track and field in Guatemala City. They did excellent. They won 17 medals, including 7 gold medals, a number of silver, and 2 bronze. So they deserve all the applause, all the encouragement for that tremendous achievement. It's uplifting. It's uplifting for the athletes, it's uplifting for the country, it's uplifting for their parents, for their coaches to see that, because it is proof that our athletes have the ability to excel in sports. All they need is the opportunity and the support. All right, so it's very heartwarming, and it's a big motivation for the young people in our country to engage themselves in positive activities.
This is an event that we usually participate in every year. It's the Kadika U18 and U20 event, the junior events as we call it. We usually do very good at this event because usually around this age we are very competitive with the other countries. It's usually when we hit to the seniors, then they kind of outshine us a little bit. But usually in the junior or raw talent, we stand up well with them.
Let's talk about how many persons represented us and the medals that you brought back.
In total, the contingent was 29 people, I believe. That's with coach, athletes, and a couple parents that were chaperones. We brought back 17 medals, 8 golds, 7 golds, 8 silver, and 2 bronze medals.
Was this a successful outing, a successful performance?
Yes, definitely. It was very successful. A lot of these athletes, this is their first time going out, and for a lot of them, it's just their experience, and they know for another time, like next year or future, if they continue with the sport, they need to train harder. And a lot of them, on their first try, they get medals. So of course, that motivates them to do even better. I believe across the country, a lot of our young athletes have been fading away from sports, whether it's track and field, football, basketball. But to see them now engage back again, and the joy is there. That is most important. So it's very encouraging. Later on in the year, we have another competition coming up, which is the infant championships, where younger athletes than them, they will go probably about, I think, between November and December.
Recently, the government of Belize has been investing more monies in sports, and that has translated to positive results.
This very building here is a major investment in track and field because this is named after Ned Pitts, who was one of the leading persons in promoting sports in Belize. And this is also the headquarters of the Belize Olympic Commonwealth Games Association, which shows the commitment of the organization to sports in the country. And in relation to track and field, I have to say a big thanks to Mr. Fred Evans, the organizers of the Belize Athletic Association, and all the others who working with the young people despite different challenges to make sure they are prepared for these international meets. The government's commitment to sports is on a continuous basis. Prior to this victory here, we had the victory of Dimitri Myers, who won the 3,000 meters in the Carifta Games in the Bahamas. And then afterwards, we had Mr. Quiros, who won the cross-country championship after the garland was taken by foreigners for quite some time. And so we continue to do everything possible to promote sports with the limited resources that we have in the country. And as a part of our commitment to sports, including track and field, the government is committed to using the proceeds from the Bolido and Lacho Enati startup to promote sports. All right, so that will be a concrete way to promote sports because chairs and so on are good, but at the same time we need better sporting facilities, we need better trainers, and we also need incentives for the youth when they excel. And so the proceeds from the Bolido that will be operated by the government will go a long way in promoting sports in the country.
For the athletes, the sacrifice was worth the while.
I train every day, Monday to Friday. From in the morning, I would get up like 4 o'clock and get ready, come to Marion Jones train for like an hour or 2 or 3. Then I go home, rest, ice up, come back in the evening after 4, and like I would leave from out here like 7 o'clock, go home, ice up, bathe, sleep, and get up the next day to prepare for another day. It was very challenging. First, when I reached on the track, I was judging some of the other guys because of how they look, but when I actually ran the race, it wasn't as easy as how it looked. And with this second and this third, this gave me a reason that I need to train harder and push more, so when I go again, it's to come back with the goal one around my neck.
It was my first time, so it was a bit rough. But when we got to the hotel and I started talking to my teammates, it got a little bit more smoother and I became less nervous. I would try to make my time greater. I'd put in a lot more effort, start training extra hard, and just being confident in myself.
But you think it's a very good performance given it was your first time going out, right?
Yes, it was.
What did you think of the other competitors?
They were really fast, but I still think I could do better than them next time I go.
The team returned to the country on Monday evening. Prime Minister John Briceño embarked on a diplomatic mission to Nassau, Bahamas today. The Prime Minister is set to participate in a meeting of the heads of government of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, along with the President of the Dominican Republic and the Vice President of the United States. Eamon Courtney, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration, as well as His Excellency Laura Sylvester, Belize's ambassador to CARICOM, are accompanying the PM. The high-level meeting is seen as an opportunity for Belize to engage with key regional players and reinforce its international ties. During the PM's absence, Cordell Hyde, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Natural Resources, Petroleum and Mining, will assume the role of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is expected to return to Belize on June 9th. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, June 7th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3 facebook.com/CTV3 Belize News or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.